What's the central part of your training? Is it running? Is it sparring? Or?
Central part is dodging the nightclubs and the parties and the girls. You want the truth? And being in the bed by yourself at 9 o'clock at night. If you can get by that, you'll make it.
Adversity makes the strong stronger, the weak weaker. We need adversity in our life. We need to be competitive to enhance the world. There's no good, there's no bad, it's just how you perspective. Whatever you believe is true.
Your real self is inside you. Your body gets old, but your soul and your spirit never die. That's gonna live forever. So your body is just housing your soul and spirit. So God is testing us on how we treat each other, how we live, to see where our real home be in heaven. So this physical stuff don't last for so long.
If I wouldn't have gotten to MMA, 23 years old, where I would be right now, maybe in jail. I mean, I'm not sure. I'd be doing something. It'd be something, you know, whatever it would be, it'd be something big. I was always, you know, 100% into it or not into it at all. Whatever I would have got into, it would have been either really bad or really good.
I'm no monster. When people read about me, I was just a boy. I had no one to protect me. I had no publicity firm to protect me. I'm nobody. I'm probably a famous person in France, and here I'm still a grassroots person. And my grassroots background, we don't back down from anyone. And that's what got me in trouble. I don't play games. I don't kiss anyone's ass. And I'm a real man, and that's regardless of being a fight or anything, I'm a man, and that's why I want to be a man. And if I die, I want to die a man. I don't want to die a bitch.
This is a hard world. Don't nobody give you nothing. You have to work for it. So I'm blessed to be able to beat up everybody. So I want to beat up everybody until I can't beat them no more. If I can go 10 more years, I'm going to keep on doing it.
When your dream is so big, when you have something, it's hard to give up. You know, like you get to the point that you're capable of risking more for just a dream, which is something that a normal person would not understand. I still ask myself now, like, why didn't I give up at that time? Why did I keep doing this? Why did I take those risks? Because there was a moment that even now I think about it, I'm like, that was stupid. It was like a death sentence.
If you want to give up, you can give up. This is your choice. You can do whatever you want. Your time's gonna come, but you cannot give up. A lot of people ask me, you proud of something? I'm very proud of. I never give up.
If God just came down and gave you a laptop or a computer or a phone and said, you have the chance to send an email to 𝗘𝗡𝗝𝗢, what would you write in that email to 𝗘𝗡𝗝𝗢?
Wow, oh shit. How did I do?
The most driven individuals, they live a life for many years and certain times without balance. Everybody strives for balance, balance, balance. And in order to be that obsessed with something over and over again, you can't be the best at something and try to balance everything else around your life. There is going to be times where things are going to be out of balance. It just is.
You got to just stay locked in and stay focused. And as long as you know what's true, people are always going to say something. Always. They're going to try to have some type of narrative or whatnot. But as long as you know what's real, I think that's what can help you keep your sanity.
Consistency is discipline. They mean the same thing. If you consistent at something, that means you're disciplined. You go to the gym every morning, you're disciplined. If you go make a song every night, you're disciplined. The lack of discipline does equal failure, even though sometimes people with the lack of discipline do make it up through there. But you want to have discipline. You don't want to leave nothing to chance. You want to dictate everything that happens in your life.
Understanding that you want it bad, so you're willing to put into work and do things you don't want to do. It's what makes you have the confidence that you know how to push through, and the mentality that I'm the type of dude to get shit done. Like I'm not gonna waste my day just sitting around a fucking hotel room. No, I'm gonna go to work. Do more hard shit makes you do more hard shit.
But you cannot erase the work ethic part. There is no getting around. Ain't no elevator to the top. You got to take the stands. The elevator don't go to the top, man. Not in the world of success. You gotta take the stands. Y'all gotta start getting gritty, man. I hate it when I see young people wasting their time, just sitting around in this world that's been created for you, that everything is instant.
The process it takes to be number one and stay at number one, you have no idea. Everybody wants to sit in your seat until they have to sit in your seat. Very few people understand. Everybody thinks the more you win, the more successful you are. It just makes everything so much easier. And they don't understand the pressures that these individuals put on themselves to continue to perform at the highest level.
What would I do if I weren't afraid? And what would I do if I knew I couldn't fail? And the idea that I will never wish for fewer epic stories at the end of my life. And I've never regretted failures. I've always regretted things that I didn't try. And so just along those lines of trying to create more bias bias internally towards action rather than inaction, and normalizing consequences of failure as we said earlier, win or learn.
And throughout that process of going, whether you're building a business, you're building a family, you're building your body, you're whatever it is that you're doing, I'm telling you right now, man, as a winner, 80% of the time you're gonna feel like you're failing. 15% of the time you're gonna feel like you're just treading water. You just got your nose above the water line. 4% of the time you feel like it's fucking over. This is it, I'm about to tap out, but you don't, because that 1% of the time, my friend, that 1% of the time is when you know you're winning. And you go, I'm gonna take these 1%ers, I'm gonna stack them and stack them and stack them and stack them. And you know what happens when you stack winning over years and decades? You become a fucking formidable force to be reckoned with.
If you go visit the darkness that you've been running from, you'll have the opportunity to leave a better person. You'll have a better understanding of yourself. You'll have a better understanding of your purpose. But if you don't take that trip and the darkness comes visit you, it's a guest that will never leave.
The fundamental issue is that life is tragic and difficult, very tragic and difficult for everyone. And it's also tainted by malevolence, because no matter how things are tragic and difficult, but there's always some stupid thing that you could do or someone else could do that could make it even worse than it has to be. And so that's life. And you need an antidote to that, because that can embitter you. Constant contact with that. Just the tragedy, but the tragedy combined with betrayal and malevolence. Well, what do you set against that? Doing something worthwhile, by your own definition, say. You need some reason to get the hell out of bed on a terrible day, because you've got something good to do.
The grind is like, you got to be there every day. If you're there 3 days a week, it's not as good as 5. You got to be there 5 days a week. And 5 might be better than 7, because sometimes 7 you burn out. You want to keep enthusiasm, because that's a fuel. Enthusiasm, there's something about enthusiasm that, like, you got to balance discipline and enthusiasm. Discipline's critical. You have to be able to show up, but you also have to enjoy the shit out of it. And so enjoying the shit out of it with discipline is the key.
The consistency of work. Monday, get better. Tuesday, get better. Wednesday, get better, right? And you do that over a period of time, you know, not like 1 month or 2 months. I mean, it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And then you can get to where you want to go.
If you think about the difference between winners and losers, winners define themselves by what they made happen, and losers define themselves by what happened to them. And the difficult part of the lonely chapter is that the Rocky cutscene lasts 90 seconds in the movie and lasts 5 years in reality.
With no promise of it ever ending. No guarantee of glory.
I can make things happen. I've manifested things that I'm just like, I still shock myself, like, how the fuck did I make that happen? And this is not even to do with fighting, this is to do with my personal life. And I'm like, I made that happen. And this is through this, like, manifesting subconsciously as well. Just years of something just manifesting, and boom, it's right there. I'm just like, shit, I really made that happen.
It's an obsessiveness that comes along with it. You want things to be as perfect as they can be. Understanding that nothing is ever perfect, but the challenge is try to get them as perfect as they can be. And what can you do? It's in your control. So control what you can.
And every day you wake up, it sucks. And when it's over, you feel better. It sucks, you feel better. And as you get going, every step you take in that journey, as you're like, for me, I run every day. Fucking hate it. But every step I take, I'm like, all right, motherfucker, you're beating the demon again.
People want to find their passion, but you don't find it, you create it. And you create it by getting good at something. And to get good at stuff, you start by doing something you suck at. Then you get good, then you like it. Then people ask how you found your passion. Answer, by starting when you sucked and not giving up.
You're exactly where you wish to be in life. Even if you think you are not happy where you are, I can promise you are. Because if you're truly uncomfortable, you can't even sleep. If I put you on spikes, you can't lay down. You only lay down even if you're semi-comfortable. I want you to understand at home, whether you're successful or unsuccessful, you wish to be where you are. So you're as big as you wish to be, you're as rich as you wish to be, you live where you wish to live. Because truthfully, when you wish for something with all of your heart, never in history has the universe or God failed to give it to you. Anything you've ever truly wished for in your entire life, you have gotten 100% of the time.
I always knew I only need one chance. I always felt I was better than everybody. I always felt all I needed was to get in there once. Just give me one shot and I'll take it home. I'll steal it every time. And then so when I got the call, I knew I wasn't hanging around. I was going to call out everyone in the division. I was going to make my way up to the top as fast as possible, because I felt I was ready.
After you fail, the likelihood that you're successful goes up, not down. This is the part that people miss. They fail and think it somehow decreases the likelihood of success, but it actually increases it. And so it's like you want to just get the failures out of the way. Why would you not want something that increases the likelihood to hit your goal? And the reason that it increases that likelihood is that failure is a requisite probability for taking action. And so anyone who has failed has taken more action than someone who's done nothing, which means it increases the likelihood that they are successful. And so when you fail, you get feedback. And when you get feedback, you get better. And when you get better, it increases the likelihood you win.
My brain can feel a certain way, but it's not going to choose how I behave all the time. I just can't let it do it. I'm going to have setbacks, I know. But if I'm feeling bad, that doesn't mean I'm doing bad. That doesn't mean I am bad. That doesn't mean that I can't still take some action.
Emotions come and go. The important thing is to accept them all, to embrace them all, and then you can choose to do with them what you want versus being controlled by emotion. You know, a lot of times I've seen players, even myself, you know, when I was younger, being consumed by a particular fear, and to the point where you're saying, okay, nah, it's not good to feel fear. I shouldn't be nervous in the situation. Like, nah. And it does nothing but grow versus stepping back and saying, yeah, I am nervous about the situation. Yeah, I am fearful about the situation. Well, what am I afraid of? And then you kind of unpack it. And then it gives you the ability to look at it for really what it is, which is nothing more than your imagination running its course, you know?
The only thing I can control is me. So instead of worrying about who else is causing you problems, worry about what you can do to yourself to improve your station. And if you go down that path, you're gonna find you have a lot more control than you think you do.
Life is hard. It's tainted by malevolence and betrayal. That can make you bitter. You need a meaning to offset that. Where's the meaning to be found? Not in rights, not in impulsive pleasure, but in responsibility. You take responsibility for yourself. The best way to pick up the burden is to continually improve yourself. And that's where the meaning is to be found.
There's nothing that's impossible for you. It's all meant for you. Every day I wake up, I'm one day closer to death. So what you gonna do with the time you got left? It's like, understand that this is our time right now. The moment is now. These moments, we only have the moment. So a lot of us live in the future and a lot of us live in the past. And that's something that we have to get out of the habit of. And I think when you accept where you are, you're kind of letting go of that and making an action plan to putting your attention on your intention. And you, of course, you have an idea of where you would like to be, but God doesn't always give us what we want. God gives us what we need. And sometimes those are the same thing and sometimes they're not.
And it's so much easier to make the same choice every single day. And the hardest part about change is not making the same choice as you did the day before. And the moment you decide to make a different choice, you're going to feel uncomfortable because you're stepping from the known into the unknown. So some people would rather cling to their self-pity than take a chance and possibility. They'd rather tell the story of their past instead of telling the story of their future. They'd rather believe in their past instead of believe in their future.
This is the hardest part. If you can just make it through this, everything else is downhill. It's not that the things that the dragons are going to slay aren't going to get bigger. They are, but you become so much more equipped to slay them back. And you have so many more allies. You have people in the stands cheering for you. You have the audience. You have all of these other things that are behind you. But at the beginning, it's just you with a stick against a bear. And arguably that fight is a harder fight to win than beating a dragon when you have a nuclear bomb and 6 nations behind you. And so it's not even like the size of the hardship, it's just also the resources and how few of them you have, and how so much of the beginning is literally burning the one thing you have, which is time, because you have no leverage. You don't have the money to pay other people to help you. You don't have the resources to go like get someone no one can learn it for you.
Life's gonna be weird for you. You're gonna experience some pain, but eventually if you stick it out and do something big, we're all gonna read about it. Just want you to know about this. We're all gonna read about it, whether it's in business, whether it's in sales, whether you're gonna be somebody that your family's gonna have the picture on the wall because you're the family that changed the entire legacy, whether we're gonna find out about what you did in a company that took you to the next level because you wouldn't stop until you figured out exactly the solution, how to fix that one problem that the company's had for the last decade, and your obsessive personality finally figured it out. Either a community, a family, a generation, a city, a state, a country, a nation, the globe is going to find out about your story because people like you don't know how to stop.
You just do the work and you get there. The human mind, the human body, the human psyche is so pliable. You can literally become anyone and anything. Multiply that over time and experience and don't quit even when it sucks. The doubt of 1,000 people on me is less dangerous than if I had self-doubt. The most important conversation you could ever have is that conversation that takes place between your ears, right, with yourself.
There are basically 2 kinds of people in life. They're winners and they're losers. And the definition is this: losers take things that happen to them and that they feel inside that suck, and they wallow, and they use it for self or outward destruction. Winners take whatever they feel it, it sucks, and they transmute it into things that are good for themselves and for the world.
I don't look at failure as failure. I look at failure as your first, second, third, fourth, fifth attempt. I look at them as attempts. I don't look at anything as failure. Because when you're going to try to do something, not trying is failure. But when you're able to go out there, there is no failure. It's attempts. Because when you're trying to do something that's bigger than you, whatever you are, if you're paralyzed, you're trying to walk one step and you didn't fail, motherfucker. That was your first attempt. If that's your biggest thing, that's how your mindset needs to go into everything. So I don't look at it as failure is a big word like that gets people down and shit. We give so much power to words. I take the power right away. I didn't feel shit.
The most important question to ask yourself is what pain are you willing to endure in your life rather than what pleasure do you want? Because any pleasure or any pursuit that you want is going to come with an in-kind payment of pain.
If you really, really think about it, it is. Everything is in arm's reach. You just have to work to get there. There is no easy road to what you want. It's a long road. Everybody that wants to do something doesn't understand the steps that you have to take to get there. And it's not just in entertainment, it's in all aspects of life, man.
There's so much opportunity on the other side of being willing to persist for an extended period of time on the correct path without getting positive reinforcement from your environment. And the longer you can stick with something without that positive feedback loop in terms of the big external thing, the easier the opportunities are because so few people can pursue them.
Start with action and make small promises to yourself that you don't break. If you had a friend and every single time that you and your friend decided that you were going to go out for dinner, that friend either showed up 2 hours late or didn't show up at all, you would stop trusting that person. That is the relationship that you have with yourself. You need to be able to trust your own word. And a lot of us don't, because life is very convenient and it is easy for people to not stick to the promises that they set themselves because our ability to be idealistic is always going to outstrip reality's ability to deliver that to us. As soon as you posit an ideal, you then begin to compare yourself to that ideal. And true hell is when the person that you are meets the person that you could have been.
The greatest version of you demands that you are extreme. I can tell you this, that every great person I know has this extreme personality, this intense, passionate desire to cut out negativity, to constantly lean into the sides of their comfort zone, to keep the promises to themselves, even when you don't feel like doing things, by the way.
It's never too late. If you're alive, you can get better. If you're alive right now, you can improve your condition. You can improve your situation, and it starts with improving the way you think. That's the most important thing. The way you think of things, the way you think of things, the way you address things, you've got to change that. And you got to look at things objectively, and you got to be brutally honest with yourself. And the more you bullshit yourself, the more it's going to be difficult. You're literally throwing weights on your back and making it harder to move forward.
You're afraid that if you put your heart and soul into it, and you fail, then how are you going to feel about yourself, right? So being fearless means putting yourself out there and going for it. No matter what, go for it. Not for anybody else, but for yourself.